Welcome everybody to a look at a brand new Radiance Films release. Now this is one of the few films that they have put out that I have actually seen before, and it is 1970s Scream and Scream Again. Directed by Gordon Hesler, who I've seen a few other films from before: The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Cry of the Banshee, The Oblong Box, and Scream Pretty Peggy even. That last one's easily the worst of the ones I've seen from him. Clocks in at 95 minutes long, stars such horror icons as Vincent Price, who I've now seen in 51 films, and there's still a few more to go besides all of those. And yeah, he's an icon of horror as far as I'm concerned, even though obviously not everything he has been in has been horror films. But yeah, so many of his films that have been classic horror films as far as I'm concerned. Also stars Christopher Lee, 39th film that I've seen from him. And yeah, again, another icon of horror, especially from the 60s and 70s. And then finally, Peter Cushing, who I've seen in 41 films, and again, another horror icon. It also stars Michael Gothard, who was also in the likes of For Your Eyes Only as Locke, I think it was called. Basically, the guy with the octagonal glasses and got kicked off a cliff by Roger Moore. Also starred in the excellent Life Force, The Three Musketeers, and The Four Musketeers from the 70s, and Warlords of Atlantis. So it's about a serial killer who drains his victims to a blood, who is on the loose in London. The police follow him to a house owned by an eccentric scientist. So, given the title of this film, its poster, its premise, and the fact that three iconic horror stars are featuring this film, you will be forgiven for thinking this is going to be in the horror genre. But despite some elements being quite horror orientated, you know, the whole serial killer aspect is definitely something that you'd see in a lot of other horror films. It is by far more of a conspiracy thriller film based in science fiction. So, yeah, a bit of a mix of genres there. That said, this is mostly an engrossing effort, which is due to its narrative being split into three, which, despite not coming together in the best ways in terms of payoff, it does nonetheless work for the majority of its running time, as it generally keeps its cars well and truly hidden until the last 10 minutes or so. So that helps keep it engrossing. You're constantly going, right, all right, come on, let's see what's going to happen, and that keeps you invested in the film. Sadly, the three horror icons it builds at the top of its cast aren't used anywhere near as much as you would expect, but they are enjoyable to watch while they're on the screen, and it is also well paced and features a solid car chase scene as well. So, yeah, by no means the peak of either of the three leading actors' careers by any means. I certainly preferred the Oblong Box, which also starred Vincent Price, but Vincent Price and Christopher Lee, I think, also starred in Cry of the Banshee, or they were in both the Oblong Box. Can't remember which one they also teamed up with in, but yeah, Vincent Price was in Cry of the Banshee and the Oblong Bots as well as this one. And yeah, so we teamed up with Gordon Hesler for a few times, but for my money, the Oblong Bots is a slightly better one of the three. But this is still a perfectly good one, and yeah, really glad that Radiance Films has given it a release, because it, at the end of the day, bumps up my Vincent Price collection, which is already quite substantial. As you might have seen when I did a retrospective of his films that I own. I think I did one last October. So yeah, really glad that I've got another one from him in my collection. So there's the disc. So we've got the artwork that is most well known on the front there, but we've also got reversible artwork to go along with it, which is a little bit more graphic, I guess you could say, a little bit more exploitation heavy. But still, it's pretty good, and I like the colours that are used for the title, and the fact it's yeah, a little bit more simple. It's not got, you know, a tagline or anything like it has on the original one there. So yeah, in terms of physical extras, as per usual, you get your little card thing that goes over the front of the artwork and the like, which, as per usual, I've always said this, Radiance Films apparently said they were expected them to be just thrown away and discarded at a drop of a hat. I think for the first time in terms of a single disc release from Radiance Films, we've actually got art cards. Granted, I haven't bought everything from them, so I'm not sure if other films have had art cards before, but still, it's nice to have them, especially given it shows off all three of the main horror stars. So there's Vincent Price himself, and there's Christopher Lee alongside one of the other actors. Christopher Lee is in the black suit there. And finally, Peter Cushing in a Nazi-esque uniform. as exemplified by the logo in the background there. So yeah, Peter Cushing isn't in it all that much, to be honest. He's only in it, I think, for a few minutes, so which is a bit of a shame. But the other two are in it a little bit more. And then we also get a booklet as well, which is nicely coloured in yellow and black. So in terms of the contents, you get your cast and your crew, then you get Scream and Scream Again, an exquisite corpse of incongruous surrealism. Or is that supposed to be like a mix on Surrey and realism? I think so, by Anne Billison. And then you got A Termite in a Crazy Circus, Chris Wicking, 1998 to 2022 by Julian Petley. Not quite sure what the write-ups are about in terms of those. Yeah, I think because this is set in London for a large part, yeah, the Surrey-Eliism is basically a mix on realism and using the place of Surrey in the south of England. So, yeah, I think that's what it's trying to get across there. And then you've got shots from the film as well. Such as that one. I'm not sure what the other write-up is about. Let's take a look, see if it has a blurb at the beginning of it or something. This introduction originally appeared in The Dark Side, issue 227, published in 2022. This interview with Christopher Wicking originally appeared in Journal of Popular British Cinema, number 1, or N1, 1998. So it's basically a reissue of a reissue in some regards of a write-up. I'm not sure who Chris Wicking is, though, to be honest, or Christopher Wicking, but apparently he's a genuine author of the British cinema. So, yeah, look forward to reading that up on that, to be honest. The screenplay. That's Christopher Wicking wrote the screenplay. Just quickly read that up there to make sure I wasn't missing out on anything. So, yeah, it's had a high-definition digital transfer of the British and American cuts of the film. So we get 2 cuts of the film on this one. I think I've only seen the British version, but you never know when it comes to online streaming, because that's where I originally watched this film. So yeah, you've also got audio commentary with Kevin Lyons, author of the Encyclopedia of Fantastic Film and Television, and Jonathan Ringby, who was author of English Gothic, Classic Horror Cinema, 1897 to 2015 from 2023. Then you've got new interviews with actors Julian Holloway and Christopher Matthews, editor Peter Elliott, and prop man Arthur Wicks, also from 2023. That clocks in at 19 minutes long, so not something short at all there. That's good. Then you've got Ramsey Campbell on Christopher Wicking and Peter Saxon from 2023, clocking in at 11 minutes long. Then you got Gentleman Gothic, Gordon Hesler at American International Pictures, a documentary on the filmmaker's work for the studio featuring Hesler himself and critics Jeff Burr, David Del Valle, Steve Haberman, and C. Courtney Joyner from 2015, clocking in at 23 minutes long. Then you got an archival interview with Clifford Earle from 2015, clocking in at 18 minutes long. Then you got Uta Screams Again, an interview with actress Uta Levka from 1999, clocking in at 9 minutes long. God knows where they find these archival interviews, especially one from 24 years ago. Then they got the Super 8 version, a reconstruction of the cut down edit distributed as The Living Corpses of Dr. Mabusa. Then you got Mike Garris trailer commentary. The filmmaker provides a short overview of the film from 2013, clocking in at 2 minutes long. Then you got trailer, gallery, and deleted scenes. Oh, deleted scenes should be interesting. But yeah, one thing I am a little bit annoyed at is that there's nothing there featuring either of the 3 lead actors in terms of archival interviews or anything like that. So that's a little bit of a shame, especially in terms of Vincent Price. More Vincent Price is never a bad thing whatsoever. So yeah, that's the only slight letdown, but at the end of the day, you got plenty of extras there on the disc. A few nice physical extras, a reversible artwork for the cover, and yeah, at the end of the day, it's still a solid, sci-fi thriller horror in some regards film. So yeah, 3 out of 5 as far as I'm concerned, but maybe the American cut or the English cut, whichever version I haven't seen, is even better than the one that I originally saw. And yeah, I look forward to seeing that version regardless. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you've seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But if you haven't, and you're into your Vincent Price, Christopher Lee kind of films, and I do recommend at least giving it a shot. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.